Jessica, thanks for coming.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Hey.
Sorry, we're a little late running up from closed session. So I am going to open the City Council special City Council meeting, Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. And we will have the roll call, please.
Mayor Ellsworth.
Here.
Vice Mayor Doring.
Here.
Councilmember Chateau.
Here.
Knudsen.
Here.
Koberstein.
Yes, here.
We'll move to public comment. Under California law, public comments at special meetings are limited to subjects on the agenda only. Therefore, public comment will take place during consideration of the item, and each person's comment shall be limited to 4 minutes. We will move to new business, and the City Council will interview the following applicants for Parks and Recreation and Active Transportation and Sustainability Committee. Our first applicant for Parks and Recreation, one application was received from Tye Taylor for one available term expiring June 30th, 2020. Mr. Taylor, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Just note that there's stiff competition, so this is going to be really grueling for you.
Testing. Is this working? You guys hear me okay? Hi, I'm Tye Taylor. I live here in St. Helena on Dahlia Street, just behind El Bonita. Thanks for taking my application for Parks and Rec Commission. This is my second time applying. I was very happy to see the two applicants that made it last time. It was a little bit of the start of my learning process, but I'm hopefully I can still contribute and fill the seat well. And thank you for reaching out to me and letting me know that another seat came available. And any questions?
I don't have a question. I just want to thank you for coming back because I think you'll add a lot to the Parks and Recs Commission. So,
Right. Yeah, thank you.
a lot of us don't succeed on the first try. So,
Yes, I want to echo that. Thank you for coming back, and we appreciate your willingness to serve. And the last time you were here, you sort of ran us through your background a little bit, so I
Sure.
think we feel pretty comfortable.
Okay.
All the same things that people have said. Thank you so much for coming back. We really wanted to see you get on this commission, so it's exciting. I just wanted you to, could you say a couple of words about your experience being a coach, the soccer and basketball, just so people can hear that? I think that's going to be a great perspective to have.
Great experience.
Just talk about, maybe the question is, can you just tell us a little bit more about what ages and what you did
Sure.
as a coach?
So I have a young one that's going into first grade here next week. So he'll be 7 in November. Single child. I have very much enjoyed being a part of his growing up and his sports life, and he's very active in sports even at his young age. We're trying to narrow down to one of them, hopefully, and we don't become somebody that's too multi-sport. But so I have done all that I can to put time in. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to dedicate as a lead coach, but I always sign up for assistant coach. Mm-hmm. And as well as some of the intramural sports that are in the city. I'm not really part of what Stephanie and Andre do, but I, lend a hand, try to help set up, or anything I can do to maybe paint lines on the field or just give them a hand when things are really busy. So yeah, that's about the experience I have, but I'm really enjoying it. And I think that's been a big drive, just especially as my son and I really utilize all the parks. We're all over town all the time. We're very outdoorsy. Don't get much sitting inside doing much TV or anything like that. So a lot of the skate park, we're over there on our bicycles, and yeah, I just want to be a part of that and contribute where I can. Maybe adopt a park is something that I read in there that was sometimes some of the commission members might take on a park and police it and things like that. So that was very something that sounded really cool. So But as far as, you know, how it all works and being able to, I haven't been able to attend a lot of the Parks and Rec meetings just because sometimes they get canceled or moved around a bit or something conflicts with my schedule. I travel quite a bit for work. So I'm looking forward to dedicating more time and being a part of it and learning, I think, a lot of how it all works. So,
Thank you.
sure.
Any other questions?
Thanks for participating.
Sure. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we'll move on to our Active Transportation and Sustainability Committee. 2 applications were received from Betsy Davis Reynard and Madeline Chandler to fill one available alternate position, term of office expiring June 30th, 2021. Did I pronounce your name correctly? You did. Yes, okay. So Ms. Reynard, would you step up first and then let us know a little bit about yourself?
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. I'm Betsy Reynard, and I'm a member of the, a resident of St. Helena for the past 4 years, and an active and supportive biker. I've been involved in the community and want to become more involved in helping promote safe biking in St. Helena. I bike to bocce every Thursday night. I bike on the trail, and I volunteered with Tourism Gives Back this past spring, helping with the Bike to School effort at the Montessori, and became more involved with that process and just felt that it was something that we could really have more of in the community of St. Helena to ensure that children get to school safely. And it's a wonderful biking town, and I wanted to do my part to help. I have participated in a lot of different volunteer opportunities here in the Valley with Oakville wine growers and my work. Just a little update as far as my background. When I applied for this in June, I was an independent contractor, but have just started a new position with the Calistoga Chamber of Commerce as their marketing and public relations manager. So that's this is week 2, so it's an exciting time to get involved with what I can in the community. So
Very good. Thank you.
Yes.
Are there any initial questions?
You haven't mentioned the skill set that you have with communications and public relations. And I don't want you to underestimate that skill set. That's going to be an important skill set, because I think that will help promote a lot of the activities and a lot of the services and a lot of the needs that we have. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I moved here from New York City. I worked for 22 years in New York with communications and special projects representing wineries from Bordeaux, actually, business development, PR, so various relationships, communicating our message to various partners, the media and such. So communication is very important, and in the community about where we can bike safely through the neighborhoods, and I think just having those contacts with various members of the community who I know through my 4 years here, that would be a terrific asset, certainly, to spreading the word about our safe biking to work and school program that we're launching in September, and ensuring that the message is out and continues to be out about how St. Helena is a wonderful place to bike and live.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. One of the conundrums that the town has is that it's difficult, and I've actually personally seen, a truck hit a bicyclist on Pope Street. It's difficult to go from the east side to the west side, and we really want to encourage the folks that might be in the Montessori school on the west side to be able to bike to the Montessori school on the east side, and the folks on the east side that may be going to the elementary school or the RLS or the high school to be able to bike. And have you given any thought to, there's Pope, there's Hunt, there's Adams. I know there's some work being done by the Napa Valley bicycle folks. I just wonder if you have any comments as well as a big biker.
Well, it's true that that it is limited as far as safe bike routes, and also ensuring that all of the drivers around us are aware and give bikers space, especially when it comes to children biking to the Montessori school. I spent a little bit of time early in the summer trying to map out on our bikes some safe options to avoid Pope Street, and for the folks, the children living on the east side, how they could come on the west side, of St. Helena, and how they might get to the Montessori school safely, because that intersection on Pope is especially concerning especially for very young children. So we established some possibilities that I know would require understanding and permission from some of the residents to have a bike route through perhaps some through the properties to a certain extent. We're not talking about putting in new bike paths, but just have nice biking options, and are working on maps that perhaps having crossing guards as well, volunteers in the community that might be able to help establish that, so the traffic patterns can become more aware of more people on their bikes. That's a work in progress. I know that's certainly top of mind as far as this project is concerned.
So my question is on the sustainability part of the committee. Are you interested in doing more than the biking plan, or is that the main focus for you on this committee?
Well, I'm interested in contributing with the committee and whatever our mission is. I have to be frank that I'm not 100% clear on what all of our goals are. This is a new interest of mine. I just recently became aware of the position as an alternate. So as much as I can contribute back to the community of St. Helena, I'm happy to do it.
Thank
Yes.
you.
The same line of questioning, that we recently approved a work program for this committee, which includes a lot of climate-related work that I would hope you would find interesting.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was I was going to ask as well. We're talking about alternative energy and climate action. I think the job you have in Calistoga is interesting. One of the things that I think is really finally starting to happen here is cross-jurisdictional dialogue, where we're learning from each other and working with each other, hopefully more so than in the past. So regardless of what happens here today, keeping this conversation open so that we're working together with Calistoga, learning from Calistoga, sharing resources when we can. So that to me seems like another great opportunity that might come from this. So
I agree.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's
That's it?
Yeah, thank you. And now, Ms. Chandler.
Good evening. I'm Maddie Chandler. I'm an architect here in town. My husband and I moved back to St. Helena about 2 years ago. This is his hometown. He's a third generation Napa County born. We're both architects, and we started our own architecture firm. So just to give you a little background about myself, I attended and graduated from Cal Poly with a major in architecture and a minor in sustainable environments. After graduation, we moved to San Francisco, working for large corporate firms while taking our licensing test, and that's when I became LEED accredited. So that's leadership in energy and environmental design. And I also have a special focus with LEED in building design and construction. So that's called B, D, and C, I suppose. I grew up in Del Norte County, so I was just telling Anna that that's redwood country, and I grew up backpacking and fishing and kayaking and camping and all sorts of fun stuff, surfing. So I think that really helped instill my love for nature and respect for it. And my mother, I was telling Jeff actually, my mom was the mayor of our hometown, and it's about the same size, and she's been very involved in commissions, coastal and planning commissions. So I think that really helped, spark my interest in getting involved in our local government. And what else? Let's see. I'm an avid biker, whether it be, cycling on 29 or the trail, or just biking to farmer's market or to the store, or here, even though it's really hot. So I think I have a really good understanding of our bike lanes here in St. Helena, and I'm also a distance runner, so I'm aware of that aspect as well, just safe walking or pedestrian traffic. So I have a good understanding of our bike lanes and maybe where there might be room for improvement. And also just my architectural background and collaborating with city planners and landscape architects and that nature. So I don't have any experience in government work or committee work, but I think my educational background and my professional experience makes me fit for, tapping into my interests and that profession in terms of politics and economics and sustainability and social interactions. So I think, I'm just looking to contribute in some way that I can. I think that climate change, as Anna was mentioning, that group would be very beneficial for our community. And I'm just looking to give back in something I feel passionate about. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Are there any initial questions?
Need a minute to think.
Okay. Any initial questions?
Well, I have a question, and I don't know if you've been following the work of this committee since you've been here. I'm not
Very little.
okay, and maybe some of my fellow council members can help me out here. But this committee's been working on these. I think you call them directives, which
Yes.
are something that may be folded into our codes, correct?
The climate action directives, yes.
Right. Which seems like maybe, at least on the building side, some architectural understanding might be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Are you familiar with climate directives at all?
Not necessarily climate directives. I'm not sure the formality of such, but I think I can help contribute once I do understand what that means exactly.
Yeah.
But
You probably know more than I know already, but I think that your skills maybe as in architecture or whatever might be helpful.
yeah, absolutely.
Group.
And you've had a background in your work with integrating with city planners and that sort of thing.
Right.
So you can, in a sense, speak the language.
Yeah. I don't think I attended the meeting on last Wednesday, and I don't think I understand all the terms, but I think I have a good understanding of the initial thoughts, and then someone can reassure me that yes, that is that, or well, no, not exactly. So I think I will be learning a lot, that's for sure.
Any thoughts? Chateau,
Not yet.
Mr. Knudsen?
There's been a question about sort of we have a couple of committees that are filled with smart people and really have a lot to add, and there's also the side to government, which is there's sort of a process orientation, and so there's an interface with council and with citizens and with the commissions and with the staff, and so I think it really takes some sort of calmness and sort of ability to see a longer term picture. And would that be okay with you? I mean, is that something that you would find frustrating, or would that be exciting for you to participate in that?
Well, I think that's why I kind of brought up my mom being involved in our small town local government as I was growing up, and I saw her frustration, and I saw what she had to deal with. So I'm fully aware of the process, and architecture itself is no short endeavor. So I think I'm I'm patient, and to be honest, I'm frustrated not doing anything. So I think my involvement is coming out of my frustration from just world politics in general, and just hoping to do something. So I think that might come off bad, but I think I'm frustrated now with where we are globally, and yeah, I don't think what I'd be dealing with here would be any more frustrating than that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I finally have my question.
Yeah.
So what's one or two things that you would like to accomplish being on this committee, knowing that that could change once you're on it and you learn more about it?
Well, I think there's already a very good understanding and awareness within the committee from what I've seen and what I know. I'm not that familiar, but I think, there's been talk of new government buildings here in St. Helena, and I think I'd like to bring the attention of alternative energy to those buildings, and the health and safety of those buildings in terms of materials that are used, and the wellness of the people that will be using those buildings. So I think there's a lot of room to grow in St. Helena in terms of sustainable energy, and also not only just pedestrian paths, but being able to put recycling and composting and trash cans in appropriate spots, because some cities are very proactive with infrastructure like that, and having water bottle stations and bike racks and things like that. It's just I think there is room to grow here, and I'm hoping to shed some light on that aspect as well. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Two incredible candidates. So we are going to.
Make
I'm sorry.
one
Yes.
point. Sometimes the applicants don't get the same questions, and I always worry. I'm concerned about the fairness of the process. There may have been a question asked as we warm up with the second applicant that the first applicant may have thought about, and I think it's important for us to give everybody a chance to kind of go, well, I would have said this if I was asked that question. I just want to put that out there. I think it's just fairness, so we're all sort of measuring the same information, if we can do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
If not, that's okay too. You're good.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming. We're going to discuss, and we're going to make an announcement at the regular city council meeting. I talked with the city manager about moving that item as close as we can to the beginning of the meeting. So if you want to stick around, we will. That should happen fairly soon after 6 o'clock.
Is the process clear to you about how we have to do that at the public meeting? We'll discuss then and then decide right then. That's been
Yes.
explained? Okay.
So I want to thank you all for coming, and if we have to make a choice, but I just want you to know that your willingness to serve, there will be more opportunities, and it's really wonderful to have people coming forward and wanting to participate. So with that, if there's nothing else, I will adjourn this meeting, and then we'll reconvene at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
I mentioned the community climate change group.
Pardon?
The community climate change group.
Yes.
I mentioned it to both.
You did. Okay, great.
That's what she referred to before.
So maybe you and I can sit down at some point and go over our calendars, because there's around Napa, there's a couple different things forming, and so making sure that we're seeing where that's happening.
Yeah. I think also, yes, and we're gonna have to focus our energies, on when they pull us all together.
Yeah.
I know for me, I can only go to Napa so
Yeah,
much.
right. No, I know.
Right, there's like the limitation.
Yeah, so we can talk about how to manage that.
Yeah.
Oh, they should.
That's what that's what I've been saying from day one.
Yeah. And get a wrangler, to
Yeah.
pull this together.
But it is so nice. And that's where he saw Min, and said, "We need our meeting. Pull us together."
Okay, great, good.
It's like those kind of moments.
Well, so that's
it's
the
like-
that's the value of
I know, showing
that
up.
going out, because
I know.
what happened here
They
for
forget
many-
about us.
Yeah, for many years is that it just became this bubble, and people didn't we can
He has a background. He has a total background.